I am here because I'm a resident of Santa Barbara County, and I can smell a rat. And this project is a rat.
The reason we are here today is to ask the state of California to protect us from the largest threat facing our coast. Sable, a new Texas oil company, wants to restart the defective pipeline that caused one of the largest spills in California history.
The Santa Barbara Channel has suffered two of the worst oil spills in the history of North America. The first, in 1969, was so bad that it started the modern environmental movement.
If you're going to have an oil spill, Santa Barbara is one of the worst places in the world to have it. Here's a famous beach, one of the most prestigious tourist destinations in America. And the spill is right in its face. And the birds got soaked and the harbor was covered. So it was bound to be a reaction. There was bound to be a good deal of coverage of it. And indeed there was.
The ocean bottom under Union Oil Company's Platform A in the Santa Barbara Channel, 5 miles south of the city, erupted in a great boil of crude oil and gas. When a blanket of black tar flowed ashore several days later, a number of citizens and officials of the city and county of Santa Barbara began a variety of actions that continue to this day.
Reporters converged on Santa Barbara. It was worldwide news. I was a 27-year-old lawyer practicing law in San Francisco, expecting my first child. And I received a telephone call from Pete McCloskey, who was then in Congress and who had been my mentor. He asked me if I'd heard about the oil spill, and I said I had. And he said, "Mark, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for you to have a career in law that you want." I moved to Santa Barbara to participate in the response of the citizens to it.
I was an assistant professor of history at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and I actually wrote a book published in 1967 about the history of the American attitude toward wilderness and how that has changed over time.
There was a group called Santa Barbara Citizens for Environmental Defense, and when I told them that Pete McCloskey had sent me, they kind of leaned forward and said, "Pete McCloskey," and they were happy to receive me. And so that began a collaboration of the local people responding to the spill, and Pete McCloskey, Denis Hayes, and the others working on Earth Day.
That was the communication. People contacted us, and then we built a relationship. These just sensational groups across the country who committed themselves to making this thing sing on a wide variety of issues.
So we were in communication, and what we decided to do in Santa Barbara was to have an event on the first anniversary of the spill to announce that Earth Day would be held on April 22nd of that year. And we wanted to make a statement to the world. So the group asked Rod Nash, a young professor at UCSB, if he would write a declaration, a statement from the people, and he decided on the Santa Barbara Declaration of Environmental Rights.
And I said, sure, I'll take a shot at writing a declaration. I think it's very important in any kind of cause, what be it environmental or civil rights or almost anything, to have some sort of a seminal document like that. What are we fighting for? What are we doing this for? I thought, well, I'll model it on the Declaration of Independence. People having the right to an environment capable of sustaining life and promoting happiness. And then I list the various problems that we've created in interacting with the earth. And then the remedies for that. And one of the most important statements is we need an ecological consciousness that recognizes man as member, not master, of the community of living things sharing his environment.
So on January 28, 1970, we had Environmental Rights Day, a national conference organized around the Declaration of Environmental Rights written by Rod Nash. Very well attended, very well reported, a lot of environmental leaders, and Pete McCloskey and Denis Hayes.
And the very first speech I gave using the words Earth Day were at that conference in Santa Barbara.
It was a powerful cry for a new awareness, a change of heart, a change of being. It was a profound statement.
And following that, I became the founding chairman of a new program, a new major at the university called Environmental Studies.
I saw how to bring into being the Environmental Defense Center, full-fledged, full-time environmental law firm. I saw how to bring into being the Community Environmental Council. I saw how to bring into being 10 different courses I taught at UCSB over the years.
We called it Earth Day, and it had great resonance, and people loved the name. Across the country, their estimate was that it was about 20 million people participating, which, since the population then was about 200 million, 1 out of 10 Americans took part in that first Earth Day.
You know, we're all here because we as a community have experienced tremendous violence from oil spills. Going back to 1969, the oil spill that really woke up the nation to the risk of environmental hazards and really changed the trajectory of our country and the world.
Sable Oil Company wants to come here and threaten this coastline and increase the climate crisis. We are nature. We live on the planet because nature is alive and healthy and allows this to happen. Without nature, we die. Let's just remember that.
This movement has grown. It is very strong today, and it will overcome what's thrown at it in the years to come.